To fully understand Stranger Things 5, it's essential to revisit where the events of Season 4 left us back in 2022. It's been 3 long years, ChatGPT was launched, Taylor Swift got engaged, and we can no longer remember why we were singing Chrissy Wake Up in the first place. At the start of Season 4, our reliable party members were drifting apart. 8 months after the Battle of Starcourt, Hawkins is still reeling, and a new terrifying threat was emerging. Dustin, Mike, and Lucas are now navigating life at Hawkins High, while Joyce, Will, Jonathan, and Eleven have relocated to Lenora Hills, California, and Hopper remains presumed dead. Relationships are strained, grief is running deep, and dramatic reunions are on the horizon. So here's what you need to remember before Season 5. Stranger Things 4 introduces the ultimate villain in Vecna. It wouldn't be Hawkins without supernatural chaos, and in 1986, events quickly spiral out of control. Hawkins High students begin dying in a gruesomely consistent pattern, levitating, limbs snapping, blood pouring from their eyes, sending satanic panic throughout the town. The first victim, cheerleader Chrissy Cunningham, becomes the catalyst for widespread fear among parents and her boyfriend Jason's basketball team. High school tensions are already apparent at the start of Season 4, with Lucas now playing for the Hawkins Tigers, while his friends remain nerds in their new club. Here we meet Eddie Munson, played by Joseph Quinn, a slightly older metalhead and freak who leads the Dungeons & Dragons Hellfire Club, with Mike and Dustin among its members. Eddie's life becomes entangled with Chrissy's when she, overwhelmed by her own demons, seeks him out to buy drugs at his trailer. Soon she begins seeing hallucinations of her family in danger and falls into a trance. Eddie, unaware of any supernatural danger, tries to calm her down, but it's too late. Vecna, the sinister new villain from the Upside Down, kills Chrissy in a horrific attack. Horrified and guilt-stricken, Eddie goes into hiding as both the only witness and the town's main suspect. So who is Vecna and where did he come from? After being sacked from the Hawkins Post in Season 3, Nancy is back on the case, now working at the school paper. While investigating the murder at the trailer park, she hears from Eddie's uncle, Wayne Munson, that a similar killing occurred in the 1950s, committed by the now institutionalized Hawkins resident Victor Creel. Later in the season, Vecna possesses Nancy and shows her via flashback that he is in fact Henry Creel, Victor's son. Henry Creel is the first test subject at Hawkins Lab and wields psychic powers that allow him to prey upon those suffering from trauma and guilt. After massacring his family in their home, he is taken in by Dr. Brenner and becomes one. Brenner continues to expand his group of subjects, including a young Eleven, before an attack occurs, leaving the staff and other children dead. Henry tries to manipulate Eleven into partnering with him, but she obliterates and banishes him into the Upside Down. As he falls into this new dimension, lightning strikes and transforms him into Vecna, a monstrous figure with one clawed hand and tendrils running all over his body. Vecna's method of killing forces his victims to confront their deepest shame and guilt, trapping them in a trance within his mind palace. Each kill opens a gate to the Upside Down, and he needs 4 to complete his plan to merge Hawkins with it. With Chrissy already deceased, Nancy's journalist friend Fred II, and Lucas's teammate Patrick III, he needs one more body, and he has his eyes set on Max. The group discover these mini-gates at each of Vecna's murder sites, including an underwater one at Lover's Lake, where Steve is dragged through and attacked by demobats. Robin, Nancy, and Eddie dive in behind him and navigate through the Upside Down to the Wheelers' home to find weapons. They also discover through Nancy's diary that the Upside Down is an exact copy of Hawkins, frozen in time on the day that Will disappeared, November 6, 1983. This raises the possibility that Vecna may have been orchestrating events across the previous 3 seasons, manipulating the Demogorgons and the Mind Flayer toward a larger purpose, with Will at the centre. Supernatural threats aren't the only challenges our heroes face heading into Season 5, as emotional fallout and fractured relationships were rife in the 4th season. Vecna's sights are firmly set on Max, whose entire arc is shaped by the grief she refuses to confront. Since her stepbrother Billy's death at Starcourt Mall, she has withdrawn from Lucas and the rest of the group, isolating herself both physically and emotionally. Max begins experiencing the same ominous symptoms as the other victims: headaches, disturbing visions, and the chiming of a grandfather clock, and realises that whatever killed Chrissy is coming for her next. She writes letters to the people she loves, culminating in a visit to Billy's grave, where she finally voices the feelings she has buried for so long. It's this moment of vulnerability that finally allows Vecna to inhabit her mind for the first time. After Nancy's investigation reveals that Victor Creel only survived his son's attack because music disrupted his control, Steve, Lucas and Dustin place Max's headphones on her head and blast Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill. Inside Vecna's void, Max races towards the music and towards the vision of her friends, narrowly breaking free from his grasp. But during the final battle, she removes her headphones to lure Vecna in, drawing him towards her and the rest of the gang, hidden within the booby-trapped Creel House. With 11 piggybacking from a pizza dough freezer from across the country, the pair fight Vecna as long as they can, before finally becoming incapacitated. Max loses her vision, succumbs to her injuries, and ultimately falls into a coma, her fate still uncertain as Season 5 begins. Meanwhile, Dustin and Eddie develop one of the season's most unexpected and heartfelt friendships. Dustin doesn't see Eddie as the troublemaker everyone else does, but as a kindred spirit. He works with the rest of the Hawkins group to protect Eddie and clear his name, but their friendship reaches a tragic peak when Eddie distracts the demo bats in the Upside Down with a memorable Metallica solo. Refusing to run from danger again, he chooses instead to be a hero, sacrificing himself for the group, and dies in Dustin's arms. This puts Dustin in a particularly vulnerable place heading into Season 5. Vecna already preyed on Max when she felt similarly lost this season. While sci-fi chaos takes over Hawkins, Mike travels to Lenora Hills to visit Eleven and Will. The reunion is fraught. Mike and Eleven feel distant and awkward, both unsure how to express what they mean to each other after so many months apart. Eleven even points out that Mike hasn't said that he loves her in any of his letters. Will, caught in the middle, struggles with feelings he cannot voice. His relationship with Mike is filled with longing and so far an unrequited crush, and the painful sense that he's drifting away from the person he cares about the most. He pretends that Eleven commissioned a painting of Mike as a knight, slaying a dragon, a heart emblazoned on his chest, but in reality he spent all summer long creating it for his best friend. Eleven has her own issues in Stranger Things Season 4. Now powerless, she is now suffering in painfully human ways in California, missing her father Hopper and struggling to live without her abilities. Vulnerable for the first time, she becomes an easy target at school, where Angela torments her relentlessly, and Mike arrives just in time to witness the worst of it at Rinkomania. Cornered and overwhelmed, Eleven smacks Angela in the face with a skate, an act that leads to her arrest and later reunion with Dr. Sam Owens and her papa. Amid all of this, Jonathan and Nancy's long-distance relationship is quietly beginning to crumble. In Lenora, Jonathan confides with his new best friend, stoner and surfer boy pizza employee Argyle, that he's been avoiding conversations about college because he's afraid of leaving his family. In Hawkins, Nancy's emotional distance creates space for something she's been trying not to confront: her unresolved feelings for Steve. Steve's lingering affection is increasingly hard to ignore, and Nancy finds herself noticing the small things about him again: his loyalty, his growth, and his body when jumping into Lover's Lake. What starts as necessary teamwork slowly evolves into something more complicated. It's clear that Stranger Things 5 is primed with emotional tension, as well as supernatural stakes. Nancy and Jonathan's relationship hangs in a fragile balance with the possibility of a reunion with Steve. Will is on the brink of opening up about his sexuality and sharing his feelings that he's long kept buried. Dustin enters the season shaped by profound grief, with Eddie's memory poised to influence the final fight, and at the centre of it all lies Max, still in a coma after sacrificing herself to the law of Vecna. So where have the adults been in all of this? Joyce, now a telemarketer selling encyclopedias in California, receives a mysterious China doll in the mail. She calls on the conspiracy-loving Murray, who helps her break it open, and they discover a hidden message claiming that Hopper is still alive. Murray assists Joyce in decoding the secret, and without telling the kids, they board a plane to Alaska, pretending she is attending a work conference. Flashbacks reveal that Hopper in fact survived the explosion at Starcourt Mall, only to be captured by Soviet soldiers and sent to a prison camp in Kamchatka. Joyce and Murray must deliver a $40,000 ransom via prison guard Enzo, but are betrayed by the peanut butter smuggler Yuri before they arrive. Trapped mid-flight to Russia, Joyce and Murray fight back, crash land in the wilderness, and are taken to Hopper's prison. The trio then confront a Demogorgon, discovering that the Soviets have amassed numerous upside-down specimens and mind flayer particles. Defeating the hive mind in Russia helps the kids in Hawkins take down Vecna in the season 4 finale. Hopper and Joyce finally share a kiss, setting up their relationship for Season 5. Linked to the Russian storyline, Season 4 continues to highlight the broader conflict within the military and their hunt for Eleven. After being arrested for schmacking Angela, she is taken by Dr. Owens to the Nina Project in Nevada. There, he and Dr. Brenner have developed a specialized sensory deprivation tank to help her access memories from Hawkins Lab and potentially restore her powers. Eleven finally confronts her trauma and Dr. Brenner, accusing him of manipulating her, and she gradually regains her powers. The Nina Project sessions are pivotal for both restoring her abilities and for helping her fully remember Vecna's origin, and her own role in banishing him to the Upside Down, laying the groundwork for the climactic confrontation at the Creel House and Hawkins' final battle in Season 5. The season ended with Hopper and Eleven reunited, ready to hide from the authorities together. Nancy's vision of a burning Hawkins confirmed Vecna's ultimate plan set for Season 5, and Will's chill at the end reminded viewers that he's not yet escaped the Upside Down. Despite the Hawkins gang managing to dismember and temporarily injure Vecna, Eleven remains the only person capable of overpowering him. The group is back together, but Hawkins is in ruins. Everything that unfolded in Season 4 served as the preparation for the final battle, and revisiting these events is essential before the fight to save Hawkins truly begins in Season 5.